On the day of my wedding to Declan Hawke, his female best friend showed up in a wedding gown, insisting they film a prank video. I watched the entire spectacle unfold from the live feed backstage. Mila Blake and Declan drank from the same cup and kissed in front of their friends and family. The officiant, Jared Thomas, who was a childhood friend of both, held the microphone and kept the atmosphere lively. "So, when are we going to welcome the real bride up here, Declan?" he joked, his voice echoing through the hall. "If you keep her waiting much longer, she might just start crying." Declan swirled his glass, a confident smile playing on his lips. "Let's just enjoy ourselves," he replied breezily. "She can't live without me. I'll smooth things over with her later." I turned off the live stream and pushed the mobile display covered in a cloth into the banquet hall. The entire room fell silent. "Mr. Hawke, Ms. Blake," my voice cut through the quiet, calm, and clear. "Congratulations on your wedding. This is my gift to you." I pulled off the cloth, revealing the design sketches inside. This was originally meant to be a wedding gift to Declan's company, the Spring Couture collection. In front of all the guests, I tore up the sketches. "I hereby announce that the partnership between the Hayes Group and Hawke Enterprises is officially terminated. All collaborations are nullified, and from this moment, we have no further dealings with Hawkes. From this moment on, I would make them understand that what they had destroyed was the final lifeline of Hawke Enterprises. And now, groom, you may kiss the bride." Jared, quick to react, spoke with a mischievous tone that echoed across the hall. Declan smiled and planted a kiss on Mila's hand. But in the next second, Mila suddenly stood on her tiptoes, wrapped her arms around his neck, and kissed him on the lips. The entire room froze for a moment. Then, cheers and whistles erupted. "Whoa, Declan. Playing with fire, aren't we? Go, Mila. Talk about commitment to the content." "Hey, Mila, why not stand in for the wedding night too?" Mila smiled brightly at Declan. "You're no fun at all," she said, her tone a mix of teasing and feigned disappointment. "Not even a bit surprised?" "I'm not happy with that reaction. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again." Someone shouted from the crowd. Suddenly, another voice called out, "Stop joking. What if the real bride gets mad and runs away?" Declan laughed and shot back a good-natured retort, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. "Why would she be mad? Mila and I grew up together. What's wrong with a little joke?" Mila hooked her arm through his and stuck her tongue out playfully at the guests below. "Exactly. Declan and I have been buddies for over 20 years. Who knows how many times we kissed as kids. He promised me a wedding when we were 7. Consider this him finally keeping his promise, or else I was worried he'd turn into a little dog." Another round of laughter followed. Jared, the smooth talker among their friends, snatched the microphone and immediately egged the crowd on. "It seems Mila's more eager than the bride. But it's okay. Everyone here knows Declan and Mila are like two peas in a pod. What harm could a little joke do?" He paused, raising his voice. "Surely the bride won't be mad, right, everyone? Right?" The cheers and whistles grew so loud they nearly drowned out the music. Jared shot a glance, and immediately someone stepped forward with 2 flutes of champagne. He pressed them into Declan and Mila's hands. "Come on, let's toast. This one's to your friendship of over 20 years. And remember, Declan," he added with exaggerated solemnity, "don't you dare forget your friends once you're a married man." Mila's eyes suddenly welled up, her voice choked. "Declan, you can't just forget about me once you have a wife." Declan ruffled her hair gently. "You silly girl. You'll always be my most important friend." The two of them embraced again. The applause was deafening, and many guests raised their phones to record the moment. The wedding march was replaced with My Best Friend. Declan walked with Mila toward the head table, with people slapping him on the shoulder along the way. "Declan, Mila's a great girl. When are we finally going to toast to the two of you?" Declan laughed, giving the person a playful shove. "Get lost. Don't say nonsense." But he never let go of Mila's hand, escorting her to his mother's side. He leaned down to whisper to Mila, "No more jokes, all right? Selena's still waiting for me. You sit here, okay?" Looking around, The table was filled with Declan's closest people, including his parents, grandparents, and his most respected mentor. A guest looked puzzled. "Declan, who's this?" Declan's mother smiled and pushed Mila forward. "This is Mila, Declan's childhood friend. She's like family to us. Today, we owe her the lively atmosphere. Otherwise, this wedding wouldn't be so much fun." Mila raised her glass, smiling sweetly. "Hello, everyone. I'm Mila. I'm happier than anyone about Declan's wedding today. I just wanted to break the ice a little, consider it the opening act. You can all look forward to the bride's grand entrance soon." Her words were honeyed, and as she made her way around the table toasting each one, she charmed every one of them, leaving them all beaming with delight. Declan's mother suddenly took off an emerald bracelet from her wrist and placed it on Mila's. "You're such a thoughtful child. Thank you for being so considerate." That bracelet was a family heirloom, meant for her daughter-in-law. Last month, Declan's mother had handed it to me, asking me to wear it on the wedding day. I had refused, saying it was too precious and that I might ruin it, but in reality, I wanted to save it for the most important moment. Now it was on Mila's wrist, accentuating the smoothness of her skin. Mila gasped. "Mrs. Hawke, this is far too precious. Wear it, it's yours now." Mrs. Hawke said firmly, pressing Mila's hand gently, her gaze full of affection. "I'll pick out something new for Selena later." All the guests at the table watched the exchange, their expressions a mixture of understanding, curiosity, and unspoken thoughts. Someone teased Mrs. Hawke, "Since you're so fond of Mila, why not just have Declan marry her in the first place?" Declan's father laughed loudly. "If Mila ever married into our family, my wife would be smiling in her sleep." Mila's face flushed as she hid behind Declan, who smiled and stood in front of her. "Mom, Dad, stop saying nonsense. I've never seen Mila as a woman. This life, I only want to marry Selena." His words sounded so convincing. I glanced down at the watch on my wrist. The ceremony had been delayed by 44 minutes, yet no one had asked where the bride was. My phone screen lit up with a message from Declan, sent 5 minutes ago. "Selena, Mila just gets carried away when she's having fun. Don't take it to heart. I'll get them to restart the proper wedding ceremony right now." The light from my phone screen illuminated the dim corner of the dressing room. Mila's live stream account was still running. The camera was focused on the wedding scene. Comments scrolled by in a relentless stream. "Holy crap, she's not the bride? She's stunning. So this is Mr. Hawke's wedding? He's so handsome. They look perfect together. Wait a second, isn't today Declan and Selena's wedding? Why is the bride Mila?" Someone in the know just explained. "The one in the wedding dress is his childhood friend. It's all a prank for content. The real bride is backstage." This doesn't feel right. The real bride's probably furious by now. Furious about what? Wasn't Selena the other woman who broke them up? If it weren't for her, Declan would have been with Mila ages ago. I paused for a moment as my fingers slid across the screen. In the camera, Mila leaned in to fix Declan's tie. The comments exploded again. "Someone please spill the tea. What's the real story?" Back in university, they were literally inseparable. Mila brought Declan water during basketball games. He'd wait for her until midnight after her dance rehearsals. The whole school thought they were a couple. Then Selena showed up. Who knows what she did, but she latched onto Declan and wouldn't let go. I was in Selena's class. She was dirt poor back then, always eating the cheapest food in the cafeteria, her clothes worn thin and faded. Declan probably just felt sorry for her, and she took advantage of it. Sounds like a real-life Cinderella story. Look at that wedding dress she's wearing, custom-made, worth millions. Do you think she could afford that without latching onto the Hawke family? I dug my nails into my palm. The camera suddenly swept across the head table. A society lady from some prominent family was admiring the emerald bracelet on Mila's wrist. Declan's mother was holding her hand, smiling and saying something. The comments cheered. This is clearly Mrs. Hawke's approval. Now this looks like the rightful future Mrs. Hawke. I closed my eyes. I remembered last month, the afternoon when Declan's mother handed me the bracelet. "Selena, this bracelet has been passed down in the Hawke family. It's supposed to be given to Declan's wife. But you're still so young and you have such a gentle nature. I wasn't sure if emerald would truly suit you. At the time, I thought Declan's mother was just being considerate. Turns out, she already had a more suitable candidate in mind. The comments were all praises, saying Declan and Mila were the perfect match from well-matched families. Perfect match? I laughed out loud, the sound harsh in the empty silence of the dressing room. My phone vibrated again. It was a message from my college roommate. Selena, did you see the live stream? Don't take what they're saying to heart. It was Declan who chased after you back then. That was right. It was Declan who chased after me. Back in sophomore year, a sculpture professor thought I had real talent and tried hard to convince me to switch majors, but I absolutely refused. The old professor was so annoyed that he insisted on punishing me by making me clean the sculpture studio. Declan, dodging a girl who was trying to confess her feelings to him, slipped into the studio and locked the door. Startled, I dropped the rag I was holding into the wash bucket. He paused, taken aback for a second, then walked over. It's freezing. And you're cleaning this whole place alone. I ignored him, continuing to move the heavy plaster blocks. He watched me for a moment, then took the broom from my hand. Let me help. You should take a break. Later, he always showed up around me. He said, Selena, why do you always eat alone? Let's have lunch together. You have such skillful hands. Anything you make must be beautiful. I saw this necklace, and I thought it would look perfect on you. Here, take it. I turned him down many times. But he didn't mind. Selena, I won't give up. You're the first girl I've ever liked. My phone dimmed, then lit up again. Someone posted a picture of me from college. I was wearing a plain white shirt, my expression indifferent. See? So plain and shabby. I heard her parents died young. She was raised by her grandfather. Climbing up to the Hawkes is a rags-to-riches story for her. How did the Hawke family even agree to this? They're not exactly from the same world. What can they do? Maybe they're rushing into marriage because of a pregnancy. She's not bad-looking, though. The comments grew increasingly crude. I used to think the Hawke family didn't care about social background. But now I realized. At her age and with her experience, Mrs. Hawke couldn't possibly be blind to what Mila was really doing today, all under the guise of a joke. She was simply letting it happen. It worked in her favor to use Mila to pressure me. To make me understand that compared to a well-bred heiress like Mila, I was nothing. And Declan was so certain I wouldn't dare cause a scene or refuse to go through with the wedding over this. So he let Mila do whatever she wanted. 20 years of friendship? He never saw her as a woman? The classic friend zone, a perfect little loophole to enjoy the attention of two women at once. Finally, Jared raised the microphone and called my name. And now, let's welcome with the warmest applause the true star of today's celebration. At that moment, Mila suddenly pushed open the door to the dressing room. Selena, why are you still here? Her voice was sweet, almost syrupy. They're about to throw the bouquet outside. Come join us for some fun. I closed my lipstick cap and turned to look at her. Throw the bouquet? I laughed. With the bride absent, who exactly is it meant for? That's why I need you, she replied with a playful grin. Mila stepped closer and casually hooked her arm through mine. I know you're not fond of those rigid wedding traditions. Come on, let's go out. We can even make a little game of it, okay? Before I could respond, she pushed me into the spotlight. I signaled to the staff I had arranged earlier, and they began pushing the covered display behind me, following at a distance. This wedding had turned into a complete farce. No one cared about the bride's entrance anymore. I casually walked beside Mila, asking as we went, "What kind of game are you thinking of?" "Catch the bouquet." She held the lily of the valley bouquet up in front of me. If I catch it, Declan has to fulfill any one request of mine. If you catch it. She paused, her smile deepening. I'll return the bracelet Mrs. Hawke just gave me. Fair enough. She deliberately paused and glanced toward Declan's mother. Sure enough, Declan's mother's expression changed. Enough nonsense. She walked over quickly, glaring at me before turning to Mila. Mila, dear, gave you that bracelet as a gift. It's not something to be wagered in a silly game. Then she turned back to me. Selena, Mila just loves to have fun. There's no need for you to engage with this. The surrounding area fell silent. Everyone was watching me. I let out a soft laugh. Mrs. Hawke, the bet, and the game were both proposed by Miss Blake. She skipped the entire wedding process, and it seems she's really eager to play this game. Declan's mother was momentarily caught off guard. I didn't look at her again, but instead addressed Mila. Since we're playing, let me add a little extra to the stakes. If you win, I'll give you a big gift. Mila's eyes lit up. A big gift. You'll find out soon enough. The guests in the banquet hall had cleared a space for the game. Their friends gathered in a half circle, ready to fight for the bouquet. Mila wore a confident smile and positioned herself in the middle of the crowd. The groomsmen exchanged knowing glances and subtly positioned themselves behind her. Jared began the countdown. 3. The groomsmen moved forward slightly. 2. Mila was already on her tiptoes. 1. I threw the bouquet backward with all my strength, the curve of it soaring through the air. The groomsmen jumped at the same time, their hands all reaching for the same spot. Mila was shielded in the middle by them. The bouquet was deflected by someone's hand, and it spun in midair. The lily of the valley flew past all the outstretched hands, heading straight for Declan. He instinctively caught it without hesitation. Then he immediately stuffed the bouquet into Mila's hands. The entire room froze for a second. Man, for a second I thought Declan might actually favor his own wife. Guess his first thought is still our Mila. Oh, you're in for it now. Better hope your bride lets you into the bedroom tonight. What's he got to worry about? A third voice joked, the tone growing bolder. Our Mila's wearing a wedding dress too. If you can have 2 brides, why not 2 wedding nights? Yeah, with Declan and Mila's solid friendship, Mila might just compromise a little more, huh? The teasing cheers grew louder, and only then did Declan realize what he had done. His face turned awkward as he looked at me. Selena, please don't take it personally. Mila's been eyeing that bouquet all day. If I hadn't given it to her, she'd have caused a scene. Mila, holding the bouquet, blushed as she lightly hit Declan on the arm. Look at you, making it sound like Selena is so petty. She's always been the most generous one, right, Selena? I looked at her, suddenly remembering the time in college when she used to say the most hurtful things in such an innocent tone. Back then, Declan had flown abroad specifically to bid on a pink diamond necklace for my first birthday gift from him. The next day, it was around Mila's neck. I stared at that necklace in disbelief. Declan scratched his nose, but before he could say anything, Mila spoke up in a voice full of envy. I've had my eye on this necklace for ages, and it was the last one. He just snagged it first. Declan said I could borrow it for a little while. You don't mind, right, Selena? She stuck out her tongue. You're always so generous, you won't be mad, right? Declan chimed in beside her. It's just a necklace. I'll get you a better one next time. But I never received any other necklace. The pink diamond ended up collecting dust in Mila's jewelry box. Selena? You're not really mad, are you? Mila's voice snapped me back to the present. I smiled lightly, speaking softly. It's just a bouquet. Why would I care? Declan's gaze shot toward me, as if he realized something. He started to walk toward me, but Mila grabbed his arm. We had a deal just now. You have to grant me one wish, no conditions. Come closer. I watched as Mila stood on tiptoe, her lips brushing against Declan's ear. His ears turned bright red, and he tried to step away, but Mila pulled him back. I stood on the outskirts of the crowd, watching everything unfold. Declan's immediate compliance. Mila's sense of entitlement. Declan's mother's smile. The knowing, suggestive cheers from the guests. I turned and walked toward the mobile display that had been set up in the corner of the banquet hall. The sound of my heels on the marble floor was soft, but with each step, I moved through the crowd. The noise gradually died down. All eyes turned toward me. I stopped in front of the display, my hand gripping the edge of the red silk. With a sharp motion, I yanked the silk off. Mr. Hawke, Miss Blake. My voice rang through the microphone. Congratulations on your marriage, and I wish to announce that from now on, the Hayes family will have no further dealings with the Hawke family. I stood next to the display, still gripping the cloth, watching the 2 people on stage with pale faces. Declan was the first to react. He nearly rushed down the stage, his steps unsteady, and when he grabbed my wrist, his grip was so tight it caused pain. "Selena." His voice was low. "This is our wedding. What can't we talk about privately? Why do it this way?" I yanked my hand back with force, leaving a red mark on my wrist. "Privately?" I looked at him, my tone mocking. From Mila walking in wearing a wedding dress to you two drinking from the same cup, and then that kiss, she turned this important moment of my life into a joke, and you still defend her? Declan faltered, his face turning even paler. "It was all just Mila's idea of a joke. We're all friends here. What's wrong with having a bit of fun?" "Declan." Mila's voice came from the stage, full of tears. She walked down, holding up her wedding dress, her tears falling freely. "I just wanted to lighten the mood for you too. I didn't think it would make Selena misunderstand so much." She raised her tear-filled eyes to look at me. "Selena, if you're mad, take it out on me. Don't treat Declan like this, it's his wedding." Instantly, some of their friends from the crowd chimed in to help. "Yeah, Selena, Mila's just playful, she didn't mean any harm. It's a wedding. Having fun is what matters most. Why take it so seriously?" Jared came over to smooth things over. "Selena, there are so many friends and family here. Give Declan a little grace. Why don't you head to the lounge first, and we'll restart the proper ceremony?" I looked at their faces and suddenly laughed out loud. "Grace." I repeated the word, my gaze sweeping over Declan, then landing on Mila. "Miss Blake, you say you and Declan have been like friends for over 20 years, grew up together, but tell me, what kind of friend wears a wedding dress at her friend's wedding and kisses him?" Mila's tears stopped for a moment. "That was just a staged kiss. We didn't actually kiss." "Staged kiss? Do you even believe that yourself?" I interrupted her. "Do you want me to pull up all the camera angles and go through them frame by frame?" Declan's pupils shrank suddenly. It was like I was pouring out all my grievances. This past March, I was running a fever of 102 degrees. I called you, and you said you were in a meeting. But our mutual friends posted a photo from a gathering. You were there, and Mila was there, her arm around your shoulder, her head resting on yours. You call that friendship. The hall had fallen so silent you could hear every breath. Mila's face was now completely devoid of color. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for turning today's wedding into a farce. But I didn't start this farce. I, Selena Hayes, hereby officially announce, first, the engagement with Mr. Declan is terminated. Second, the Hayes Group will immediately cease all cooperation with Hawke Enterprises." Declan's father, upon hearing about the termination of the partnership, turned pale with anger. "Selena, this is no joking matter. The cooperation between Hayes and Hawke is bound by contract. You can't just terminate it unilaterally. Can you even afford the breach of contract penalties?" I looked at him and suddenly found it somewhat ridiculous. At this point, he was still worried about the contract. "Mr. Hawke, are you referring to this addendum?" I opened the document and showed the key clauses. It clearly states that this is my exclusive design. The Hayes Group has the right to unilaterally terminate the cooperation without being liable for breach of contract. Declan's father's expression froze. Clearly, he was unaware of this addendum. This was something Declan had added himself to show his sincerity. Also, the core structural design patent for the South City project is in my grandfather's name. The interactive system for smart homes is an award-winning project I developed in college, and the copyright is registered in my name. I looked at Declan. All of this was originally meant to be part of my gift for the Hawke family. Declan's face turned from pale to ashen, his lips trembling. "Selena, you planned this all along?" Seeing the doubt in his eyes, I smiled. "Declan, I trusted you. That's why I wanted to give you what I held most precious. But now I realize I tore up the contract I had been holding. You don't deserve it." Turning around, I walked toward the doors of the banquet hall. "Selena," Declan called after me, his voice finally filled with panic. "It's not like that. Wait for me, I can explain." I didn't look back. The doors opened, revealing 6 black cars neatly parked outside. The head bodyguard stepped forward and opened the car door for me. "Miss Hayes, the media release has been prepared as you requested." The legal department is preparing the official termination letter. I nodded and bent down to get into the car. Selena. Declan ran after me, completely losing the composure he had on stage. He grabbed the car door, his eyes bloodshot. Is it really because of these small things? Our 3 years of relationship, and you're just giving it up? How could you be so heartless? I looked at him, studying his face for a long time. Then I said, Declan, now you can go back and marry your best friend. Live the rest of your life with her as it should be. The car door closed, cutting off everything he wanted to say. The convoy slowly drove away from the hotel. I leaned back in the seat, closing my eyes. The spot on my wrist where Declan had grabbed still throbbed with pain. But deep inside, the heavy stone that had been pressing on me for so long was gone. Looking at the engagement ring on my finger, I gently took it off and threw it out the window. Perhaps, like the man it came from, I should have gotten rid of it long ago. The video of my wedding with Declan went viral that same night. The comment section exploded. The comments section was a battlefield. Some condemned Declan and Mila for crossing the line. Others expressed sympathy for me, and a large, eerily uniform wave of comments from obvious hired accounts flooded the feed. It was just a joke between friends. The bride's too petty. It's normal for childhood friends to be close. She only made a scene at the wedding for attention. I scrolled through the screen, knowing exactly who was behind the trolls. They always managed to spin boundary crossing into a joke and humiliation into a fun spectacle. In the end, the one who didn't cooperate was always the one in the wrong. My phone vibrated incessantly. After I blocked Declan's number, he started sending messages from various unfamiliar numbers. Selena, answer the phone. We need to talk. Mila knows she was wrong. Things aren't what you think. How long are you going to keep this up? Won't you even listen to an explanation? I didn't respond and simply turned my phone off. The next morning, Mila released a clarification video. She appeared without makeup, wearing a plain white t-shirt, her eyes red and swollen. She stared into the camera, her tears flowing before she could speak. I really didn't expect it to turn out like this. Declan and I have always joked around since we were kids. That day, I just wanted to make the wedding more memorable. It was my lack of boundaries that hurt Selena. I'm sorry, Selena. I'm sorry to everyone. But Declan and I really are just friends. It's all my fault. Please stop attacking him. The video was shared over 10,000 times within half an hour. A flood of comments expressing sympathy for her flooded the feed. Seeing Mila cry makes me feel so sorry for her. She just meant well, but messed up. The bond between childhood sweethearts is precious. Wasn't the bride overreacting? Feels like this bride is being harsh, not giving the man any face. Who would want to marry someone like that? Since that's how it was, there was no need to save face for anyone anymore. I instructed my assistant to release the evidence I had. 10 minutes later, the official Hayes Group account posted a long graphic. It detailed every instance where Declan had left me alone for the sake of his friendship with Mila. Whether it was birthdays, anniversaries, or important events like award ceremonies. He always prioritized Mila. The post concluded with, "A true friend steps back with joy when their friend finds love, never putting them in a difficult position. True love, likewise, would never allow a friend to repeatedly cross boundaries, leaving their partner feeling belittled and full of self-doubt. Not all hurt can be brushed off as a joke. Some lines, once crossed, can never be uncrossed." It seemed to hit home for many, and public opinion began to shift. This is truly chilling when you think about it. Who is this guy really in a relationship with? Putting myself in the bride's shoes, it's suffocating. Every time she needed him, he was with someone else. To those calling the bride petty, I hope your future partners have such best friends too. Of course, Declan saw this post. He kept reading it over and over, finally realizing how much I had suffered over the past 3 years. He stared at his phone in silence, his emotions raging, but there was no outlet. Just then, Mila walked over. She had just gotten close to him but hadn't sat down yet. Declan suddenly looked up and stared at Mila coldly. "All these things. You did them on purpose, didn't you? You deliberately called me away, made me neglect her." Mila saw the post on his phone and instinctively took it. As her eyes scanned the comment section, filled with one critical remark after another aimed at her, her spoiled temper flared. She snorted at Declan. You believe this nonsense? It was all just a series of coincidences. Why would I be that vicious? Are you even my friend anymore? You don't understand me at all. In the past, Declan would have immediately started explaining. But this time, he coldly stared at Mila. Then tell me, why did you wear a wedding gown? Why did you suddenly stage those unscripted moments at the wedding? Weren't you deliberately trying to embarrass her? Mila froze for a moment, her face turning ugly, so angry that she nearly jumped up. Now you're blaming me? Declan, ask yourself, when I acted like this before, were you ever unhappy? Every single time, you went along with it. Did I ever tie you up and force you to come with me? Now it's all my fault? What right do you have to blame me? Declan looked at the distorted face of the childhood friend in front of him, unable to say a word. Yeah, in this situation, who could he blame but himself? He sighed deeply and slowly spoke. You're right, I'm the one who upset Selena. I should be apologizing to her, not wasting time arguing with you here. Mila, from now on, let's not see each other anymore. Whatever happens, don't come looking for me. Declan waited downstairs in my studio for 3 days, but he never saw me. When he finally burst into my office, the lily of the valley bouquet in his hands had started to wilt. Selena, we need to talk. He ignored the security guard stopping him and stared at me with pleading eyes. I know you're angry. I'm sorry. I was a complete jerk that day. I didn't consider your feelings at all. But you know, Mila is just spoiled. After all these years, I've just gotten used to it. Now I understand, and I promise it won't happen again. I looked up at him. Declan, she's 26. Are you telling me she truly doesn't know what to wear or how to behave at someone else's wedding? What kind of friend calls you drunk and crying past midnight on your engagement night? Or demands you drive her to the airport to pick up a cat when your girlfriend is in bed, sweating from period cramps? Declan's face turned pale. I didn't handle it well. But I understand now, next time I won't let her. There's no next time. I interrupted him. Whether there's something between you two or not, it no longer matters to me. Please leave. He stood still. Selena, we had 3 years together. Are you really this heartless? I laughed. I laughed until my tears almost came. Declan, when you were kissing her at our wedding, sharing that toast, introducing her to every important person in your life, did you think about our 3 years together then? He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. Just then, my assistant knocked and entered. Miss Hayes, Mrs. Hawke is downstairs and wants to see you. Declan turned his head quickly. My mom? I nodded at my assistant. Let her come up. When Declan's mother entered, she shot Declan a glance, one full of reproach. Selena, dear, Mila may be immature, but young people are bound to make foolish mistakes sometimes. She pushed a box toward me. You and Declan have been together for so many years, you can't just let it go. I've seen everything you've done for him. Mrs. Hawke. I gently interrupted her. My feelings and efforts were destroyed the moment you insulted me at the wedding. Mrs. Hawke's composure finally cracked. Selena, that's a terribly harsh thing to say. Mom, it's not Selena's fault. You're tired. Please go back and rest. I'll handle my matters myself. Declan snapped at her. He stood his ground, appearing to take my side. But it was too late. After his mother left, Declan remained. It seemed like he had made up his mind. Selena, I'll bring Mila over to apologize. We'll clear things up face to face, and I promise I won't contact her again. No need. I picked up my coat. If you both had stuck to your just friend story till the end, I might have had a shred of respect left for your self-deception. This way, it just feels like an even bigger joke. He insisted on bringing Mila with him. I then said, Declan, the two of you are a perfect match. One is selfish, the other plays dumb. One enjoys the ambiguity without taking responsibility, the other uses friendship as a cover to cross every line. You deserve each other. Please, continue your little romance and keep ruining each other's lives. I stood up, walked to the door, and turned back. Don't come here to disgust me anymore. Then I posted a notice at the company entrance saying that Declan and the dogs were not allowed to enter. I then fully immersed myself in work. On the day of the show, many people attended. I pulled out the design sketches I had originally intended to give Declan and reworked them into a bold new version, forming a collection with a strong personal style. The final set was the one I personally wore to showcase. The applause was deafening. After the show, during the interview, a reporter handed me the microphone. "Miss Hayes, would you say today's success is a revenge on your ex?" The flashes of the cameras kept popping. I smiled with a calm expression. I'm grateful for that experience. It clarified what I truly want. My life should never be a mere footnote in anyone else's story. That evening, both the financial news and entertainment sections covered the show. Declan tortured himself by scrolling through every video and article about me. He suddenly remembered a long time ago, when I was staying up late drawing design sketches. He gently rubbed my hair and said, "Don't push yourself so hard. I'll take care of you in the future." I replied, "Declan, I want to be someone who can stand by your side, not just hide behind you and wait for your protection." At the time, he thought I was cute. Now, he finally understood that I was serious. Once my studio was firmly established, the people seeking me out were no longer gossip tabloids, but proper financial and fashion media outlets. I had made a name for myself, and I started my own brand. That afternoon, Declan came again. He had lost a lot of weight, with dark circles under his eyes, and the once vibrant energy he had was completely gone. "I just want to say a few words, and then I'll leave." I instructed the receptionist to let him up. He stood in my office, awkward and uneasy, like a student who had done something wrong. "Selena, I'm a fool. I've been blind." He repeated this over and over, as if scolding himself would somehow undo his mistakes. I truly understand now. I've already sent her overseas. She won't be in my life again, I promise. He lifted his head, his eyes red, filled with genuine pain and regret. "Give me one more chance, please? Just one last time." I listened quietly. "Declan, I accept your apology." His eyes lit up for a moment. But hurt isn't something that can be wiped away by an apology. My tone was calm, almost detached, as if discussing someone else's affairs. "I don't hate you. I even feel a bit grateful. If you hadn't been so completely ruthless, I might not have woken up and found my own path so decisively." The light in his eyes slowly faded. What we had ended a long time ago. He opened his mouth, about to argue. I looked at him and finally asked the question that had been circling in my mind. "You've always insisted you and she were just friends, that it was all pure and innocent. All right, let me ask you this. If her family went bankrupt tomorrow and the only way to save them was for you to marry Mila immediately, would you do it?" The air in the room froze instantly. If, for even a fleeting moment, you hesitated, then it proves your feelings for her were never pure. Declan, betrayal is betrayal. If you still try to justify it with endless excuses, I will lose all respect for you. The color drained from Declan's face completely. "You see, this is the most essential difference between you and me." He stood there for a while, then turned away, walking off with a heavy heart. After that, I never saw him again. Months later, my personal brand won the prestigious International Emerging Designer Award. At the celebration banquet, I wore a gown I had designed myself, raising a glass in response to congratulations coming from all directions. At the same time, many people, both openly and secretly, sent me news. The Hawke family and the Blake family had faced consecutive failures in several joint projects, and there were rumors that they were considering a marriage alliance to stay strong. But it was said that Declan refused to agree no matter what. In the end, he was forced to reconcile, yet they argued endlessly over petty things like who should lower their head first or who was more at fault. The bond they once shared, in the grind of reality and mutual resentment, had long turned into nothing but awkwardness. I listened and felt perfectly at peace. Stepping out alone onto the balcony, I raised my glass toward the moon in the sky. A toast to the future. To myself. A toast to every soul brave enough to break free from their binds and create their own life with their own hands. With a smile, I drained my glass in one go, my gaze lifting toward the vast, serene, and deep night sky beyond. There, not a single shadow of a cloud remained.
This is Listening Novel. We appreciate you spending your time with us. If you enjoyed today's story, please like and subscribe for more stories, and stay tuned for what's next.